Angle Relationships, Part 3. In today's lesson, students will use what they know about vertical angles and linear pairs to solve for a missing angle. To solve for what? Very good. So in today's lesson, I want to introduce and review a new angle relationship, and it is called a vertical angle. It's called a what? Vertical angle. Very good. And what do you notice about these types of lines? We also call these lines intersecting lines. So the definition of a vertical angle is when you have two lines that intersect. The rule is that vertical angles, which are the ones that are opposite of each other, are going to be congruent. They're going to be what? Congruent. So let's write the name of this relationship. They're called vertical angles. Vertical angles are, what's another word for equal? It's congruent. Yes, congruent. Okay? And congruent means that we measured them to figure out that they are the same measurement, okay? So that's another word for equal in geometry. So what I'm telling you then is that opposite angles are either going to be on the left and the right side, yeah, of intersecting lines, or they would also be opposites in terms of the angle that is formed by the top and the bottom. So just by that definition alone, what can you tell me if I've measured this angle to be 30 degrees between those two intersecting lines? What do you think that this angle is going to be? Tell me, it's going to be what? 30 degrees. Very good. Okay. So if this angle is 30, this angle is also 30 degrees, and that is because they are vertical angles. They're what? Vertical angles. Okay. And let's take a look at this one, because normally when we see vertical angles, the way that you can remember it, right, is by saying vertical angles. Do it with me. Ready? Go. Vertical angles, right? So they look like this X, just like intersecting lines do. So if this I've measured to be 60 degrees, okay, what do you think this is going to be? It's going to be what? 60 degrees. Exactly. Very good. So I'm actually going to erase the X and figure out, you know what, this is 60. And I found that one up there to be 30. Okay? Now we're going to take it a step further, because we're going to talk about linear pairs. What does the word linear sound like? It sounds like a line, right? Now all I've done is taken off this little part of the line so that you can see, you know what, these are actually just supplementary angles. Do you remember what supplementary angles add up to be? What are these two angles? If I add them together, what are they going to make? They're going to make a what? They're going to make a straight angle. A straight angle is how many degrees, though? It's 180 degrees, right? So looks a little different. I could extend this down if I wanted to, but I've just taken it off so that you can see, you know what, these two angles together make a linear pair. So let's write the word linear. Okay, you've heard the word linear before, like linear equation. They add up to be, tell me, how much? 180 degrees. Exactly, because they form a line. So then, you know how to find the missing angle, right? Yes, because we already did this. So how would you find the missing angle? You would subtract from what? Subtract from 180. So what is X going to be? X is going to be what? Just 180 minus 100. Tell me what that is. 180 minus 100 is, you're right, it's 80 degrees. Okay? So this is 80 degrees. So now let's use what we know to find the missing angle. Okay? So these are vertical angles. They're what? Vertical angles. Very good. Okay, so these are opposites. What do we know about vertical angles? Vertical angles are what? Congruent. And to show that this angle, which is 60, equals this angle, which we don't know, it's actually 2x. We put little congruency marks saying this is equal to this, all right? Now, if they're equal, how could we set up an equation to solve for x? What do you think we could do? What could we write? Are they equal? Yes. So we would write that 2x equals, what does it equal? 60 degrees. Those need to be the same. Remember this? Okay, so if 2x equals 60, what exactly does that mean? It means 2 times some number is going to give me 60. 2 times what would give me 60? How would you figure that out? Well, what is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So all I'm asking you to do is to remember that when 2 and x are together, they're being multiplied, so the opposite is division. You're going to divide both sides by 2, okay? Remember division now, we're dividing. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Bring down the x, pretty simple, right? In your calculator, you're going to do 60 divided by 2. Can you tell me what that is? 60 divided by 2? It's 30 degrees, okay? So x would be 30, meaning if you had 2 30-degree angles, that would give you 60. And remember that 2 times x, well, what is 2 times x? If we plug it back in, 2 times 30 should give me what? What's 2 times 30? It's 60, all right? So all we're doing is now using what we know about vertical angles and about algebra to solve for x. Now let's try number 2, okay? What do you see? You see vertical angles. What do you know about vertical angles? Say, vertical angles are congruent. They're what? Congruent, which means that this angle is going to equal this angle. Another way of saying it is 3x plus 2 equals 86. So all we're going to do is take the 2 angles that are equal to one another and create an equation. So let's write 3x plus 2. 3x plus 2 equals how many degrees? It's supposed to equal 86 degrees. Are we cool? And now we're solving for x. We solve for x by first doing what? Make a t. Very good. Make a t. Leave some space. Great. I want you to remember we're solving for x, but right now it's being multiplied by 3. So circle 3x. What should you do to both sides? What's the opposite of positive 2? It's negative 2. Very good. All right. A positive 2 and a negative 2 make 0. Bring down the 3x. What does 3x equal? 3x equals 86 minus 2. What's 86 minus 2? It's what? 84. Very good. 84 degrees. Now let me ask you, are you done? Do you have x by itself? No. So you have to do one more step. What do you think you need to do to both sides to get x by itself? What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division, right? Because 3 is being multiplied by x, so we're going to do the opposite. We're going to divide both sides by 3. When we divide both sides by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1. And in your calculator, you're going to write 84, or put 84 divided by 3. And tell me what you get. What's 84 divided by 3? It's 28. So here you're going to write that x equals 28 degrees. Okay? That's what's going to go in that little box. All right? Take a look at number 3. Does number 3 look like vertical angles? Does it look like an x? Or is it a linear pair? It's a linear pair, right? These angles add up to be how many degrees? 180 degrees, right? So you're gonna have to look at it and decide, are these vertical angles to where they're equal, or do they add up to 180 degrees? Let me just ask you, do these angles look like they're equal? If this is 24 degrees, what kind of angle is that? It's acute. And then this angle right here is obtuse. So they're not equal, but they add up to be 180 degrees. So if we set up an equation, okay? If we set up an equation, what would we write? What are we going to do to these two? We're going to add them together. So we're going to write 24 degrees plus this angle here, which we don't know, they're calling it 2x, equals what? How many degrees? They're a linear pair, they form a line. How much? Good, okay, it's 180. So now we can solve this equation. First, what I want you to do is make a T, leave a little bit of space. I need you to now circle 2x. You're looking for what 2x is, okay? And at the end, we're gonna get x by itself. What would we have to do to both sides? What's the opposite of positive 24? It's negative 24 degrees, right? Okay, a positive 24 and a negative 24 make 0. Bring down the 2x, okay? 2x. Now don't get confused here. I know there's a line. I'm going to take it away because I want to show you that this is subtraction, just like we've been doing. We've been doing the opposite of addition, which is subtraction, to figure out what is going to be this angle here. So what is 180 minus 24? 180 minus 24 is 156. So, okay. I just want to show you that 2x equals 156, because if I added 156 and 24, what do you think I would get? I would get, I would get 180. But we can't stop there. I know this is 156 degrees, but it's asking us, what is x? What is x? How do we find out what x is? Because 2 is being multiplied by x. What's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So all you're going to do is just write a 2, divide by 2 both sides, and your 2 divided by 2 is 1. You'll be left with x. What is 156 divided by 2? 156 divided by 2 is 78. Okay, so x equals 78. That basically means that 2 of 78 would give you 156. Go ahead and get that down. So let's take a look at the last example. Now, first thing you're going to ask yourself are these vertical angles, are they intersecting lines, or are they angles that form a line? Is this a linear pair? They form a line, right? Okay. So how many degrees is a straight angle? It's 180 degrees. So that means that if we add these two angles, they're going to give us 180 degrees. So how would you set up an equation to figure out what x is? What would you write? You could write what? 3x plus what? 48 degrees gives us how many degrees? 180 degrees. Very good. So now we're going to solve this equation. First, we're going to make a t. We're going to do what? Make a t. And then I want you to circle 3x. That's what we're looking for, right? What is the opposite of positive 48? It's negative 48, both sides, negative 48. Positive 48 and negative 48 make 0. Bring down 3x. Now you can use your calculator to figure out what is 180 minus 48. So take 180 minus 48. What do you get? You get what? 132 degrees. So let me be clear, okay? This angle 3x is equal to 132 degrees. And that makes sense because this is an obtuse angle. But this problem asks us to go a bit further and figure out, okay, 3 times what number is 132? So what is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So you're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. We've already brought down the x. It's there for you. So in your calculator, you're going to do 132 divided by 3. And what do you get? 44 degrees. Excellent. Which means if I take 44 degrees and I multiply it by 3, what do you think I'm going to get? What's 3 times 44? It's 132. Very good. All right. So go ahead and get that down.